You didn't give me a 2 or a 1. You didn't give me a 2 or a 1.
I never give you a 2 or a 1.
That's how they do it in the business.
Yeah, this is the business.
What is this, your first podcast?
It's the business of giving you the business, and baby, businesses are booming.
It's not like we've been doing this for 2 years.
No.
Almost 200 episodes.
Like the same way every time, too.
I made the fatal mistake of
190, episode 190, huh?
190.
Yep. And we are rocking it. We're ready to go. I've got the Q&A ready to go over here.
All right, those who
stuff
have
as well.
bad things to say about Freemasonry or have questions and or believe that we worship the Eye of Horus, now is your chance.
Dun, 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 dun.
Now is your chance. Josh McRae, earthly greeting.
What's up, Josh McRae?
Hello and welcome to the Freemasons podcast with your hosts, Right Worship Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
And Worshipful Brother Ken.
We are up here and we are doing episode 190. This one's for the Naysayers. That's
Should have
what.
gone with the little Neil Young, This Note's for You, as the intro on that.
We are PSA Auto first EA from Dallas 231 in Pittsburgh.
Welcome, brother.
Hey, welcome, brother.
We are doing this episode for those who are anti-Masons or have I don't know, it's for the trolls, for the ones who go out there and say that Masons are evil and devil worshippers and our souls need to be saved or they will not be slaves. Or if you got your questions or if you got your comments, drop them in the comments and we will address them. You can ask your questions on whether or not we have babies in our basement or whatever else.
And we'll be completely honest.
We'll be completely honest.
To the extent that we can, yeah.
Yes.
Is it true?
And it's not just for the haters and the conspiracy theorists and the people that think we're devil worshippers. If there's people out there that have genuine questions or curiosities about the craft or may have heard an urban legend or myth out there that you want us to either confirm or dispel, we'll entertain those too. We just ask that you keep your comments rational and reasonable and we'll respond in kind.
Yep, and no hate speech, please. Like,
Yeah,
you can
no
swear
hate
at
speech.
us, that's fine.
Yeah, that's
like,
fine.
whatever. We'll always take the high road in our responses, but
Well,
if we see
two
hate
of us.
speech,
We will.
report
No,
you.
no, no.
Two
I
of us
will.
will take the
I
Two
will.
of us will take the high road.
I will take the high road.
You
this
can't reach
time.
the high road.
Right. But no violating YouTube terms of service or
Right.
community standards or whatever. Like, we'll report you.
But if you heard that the Masons are members of the Bilderberg or we do all kinds of crazy stuff, ask your questions, make your comments, and we will address them. So this one is for the anti-Masons, or as we title it, this one's for the Naysayers.
So
Josh Mantello, is it true there is a height limit to join, and if so, did George Lyons petition? No, there is no height requirement.
Yeah.
Josh McRae, I left a little funny article of your Facebook post saying now Freemasons are hiding aliens, UFOs, and are part of the Bilderberg group. Oh, wow.
Thanks, Josh.
I actually just...
Yeah, he his video had that guy. What's his name? Giorgio Tsoukalis, the guy from Ancient Aliens on it. But
I reached out to him. I actually reached out to Giorgio
Giorgio?
a while ago, and I got ghosted. I got nothing. I didn't get any type of response because they did a whole episode on Ancient Aliens about Freemasonry, George Washington.
Don't bang on the
and-
table.
Oh, sorry. Freemasonry, George Washington, and whatever,
Star
aliens
Family?
or something. And I really wanted to have an honest debate. I wish, hey, Giorgio, if you're out there, give me a call.
yeah, because he's watching right now.
Or call Rafferty.
But we do have our first,
I don't have YouTube.
what I'll say, legit
Oh,
question from PSK Auto, who was, again, a EA from Dallas 231 in Pittsburgh. His mother-in-law is Catholic and says her church denounces me. How would you respond?
Who wants to take this one? Me? You?
Should I start this one? Because we all know how you feel.
No.
Why don't you start, Kenny? Kenny never gets to start. Let Ken
All
start.
right, we'll let Kenny start.
All right. So, I mean, there are certain branches of Catholicism, just like any religion, that have a kind of historic issue with Freemasonry. I don't want to say that there's any kind of like religious reason why they would have an issue with us. It's more of like a cultural kind of historic thing, right? There are plenty. Here's the thing: if it's your mother-in-law, would she have an issue with you becoming a Mason, if the church denounces you, if you're not part of that church, is it that big of an issue? Or are they basically saying, hey, you're excommunicated because, your son-in-law became a Mason? And we have that much of an issue with it.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where technically there is something on the books from one of the popes, and I forget.
Papal
exactly
bull
who.
in 1983.
Yeah.
That says that Freemasonry is not, the beliefs are not compatible. That's the word I was going to say, conducive. Thank you. You actually came up with a big word. Compatible with some of the teachings and the beliefs in the Catholic religion. It's not really enforced. I can tell you that there are a lot of Masons who I know that are also members of the Knights of Columbus. So which is another fraternal organization that, if you check the history on it, was actually started by some Masons that were concerned about conflicting duties and started their own fraternal organization that's very similar to some of the things that we do. It comes historically, if you want to go back and look at things historically, a lot of the disdain from the Catholic Church for the Freemasons goes back to the two things that usually cause most issues: money and power. Whenever you got a group that was large enough that became a threat to the power and control that particular religion, in this case the Pope or the Catholics, had over the people, then they tend to denounce them and want to remove them. The other big piece that is probably driving it is, we believe in a supreme being, a grand architect of the universe, and it's non-denominational. So whether it's a Catholic God or a Jewish God or a Hindu God or whatever the case may be, it's all the same to us. And certain religions aren't okay with that. They see it as a violation of the first commandment. And that's primarily why.
So, can I chime in on that? I just want to kind of piggyback that, and I just want to address this. Dr. Charlie Cattermole says, "I agree. It is more of a cultural issue, and it varies with the Catholics." And Tony,
and he's smart because he's a doctor.
Tony V says, "I blame Leo Taxil." I don't know much about him. I'll have to look into that. But I just want to say two things. All right, many Masons are just everyday people, right? So you would never know I'm a Mason until, obviously, A, you've seen my tattoo, or B, you see me at a lodge meeting or wearing a Masonic emblem or on the back of my car. But most Masons don't do that, especially the old school Masons. You didn't know that they were Masons. If anything, you'd see a ring. And even that was a rarity. Yeah. So two things. I just want to say, one, you'd never know. So, you should treat every person. You should treat everyone with a proper amount of respect.
Yeah.
Regardless of, and that's what we believe, and you would never, much like, I hate to even say it, but much like you wouldn't judge somebody by their skin color, you also wouldn't judge them by the organization they belong to. You should judge them by how they are as a person. And two, I also want to put a thing out there for the Masons. If you joined Masonry just so you can be the douche that goes to Catholic Church and wear the emblem just to piss somebody off, you're in the wrong fraternity, because we don't do that. And has it happened before? I'm sure it has.
You got to use it. So if I have to give you any kind of advice, PSK Auto is like, follow your conscience, right? If you believe that what resonates with you is the tenets of Freemasonry, and you want to become a Mason, then become a Mason, and maybe just don't spread around to those individuals who, through ignorance, might ridicule you for your membership in that fraternal organization, right? It's up to you. It's up to you whether it means that much to you. And you don't have to, you don't have to put an emblem on your car or wear a ring.
Nope.
You don't have to tell anybody about your membership. In fact, that used to be the fad, was you just didn't talk about your affiliation with the order.
I just want to address two things. Joe Schultz, yes, Worshipful Brother Joe Schultz. We are reading your comments. But Bob first says, Worshipful Brother, right, Worshipful? Right, Worshipful
Brother.
Worshipful?
Worshipful.
I thought he was a purple.
He was an AGM.
AGM, okay. Well, Worship Brother Bob first says, some religions have an issue with secret societies. This had a part in the Knights when starting in New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, so the Knights of Columbus
Yes.
was started right in New Haven, Connecticut, our state here.
Mhm.
And but conversely, there are some religions that embrace it. There are some religions where some of their founding members were actually Masons. And Worship Brother first can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Joseph Smith, founder of the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, the Mormons, was a Mason,
Yeah.
as I believe Brigham Young was as well. And,
Yes, he
and
was.
a lot of some religions have embraced it because the tenets that we follow are kind of universal.
Right.
It's follow the golden rule. You must, having a belief in a supreme being gives you a sense of a moral compass. So it's even my parents, when they attended my installation, were like, wow, I didn't realize it was so intertwined with religion.
Intertwined with it, but not a religion in and of itself.
Correct. And there's that part in the middle chamber that gets into it's so far intertwined with religion and explains it. So it's, while they're not directly connected or one religion isn't endorsed over another, you couldn't have Freemasonry without a belief in a supreme being. You really couldn't. It would not exist.
Here's my thing. I just wanted this about, and again, please don't take this as me crapping on anybody's religion or anything like that. But I never understood this. Again, I've been to Roman Catholic Church. One of my ex-wife actually is Roman Catholic. My kids are Roman Catholic, and I've been to the church before, right? And I'm Methodist, right? That's what I was baptized in. I'm seeing them. These two are terrible today. The Schultz brothers, they crack me up. But I never understood this, right? So I'm Methodist, which is a form of Christianity. Christianity. Excuse me, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a form, Protestantism. Forget it. I give up. I believe in Jesus. All right.
Protestantism.
Thank you.
Yes.
When I went to church with her, like, I'm sitting there, right? I'm ready to go up and get my cookie. I'm going ready to go do communion.
Not a cookie.
It's a wafer.
But I went up there to go get it, and I was stop me. He's like, I'm sorry, you can't take communion. But I do in my church, literally 2 towns over. No, you can't because you're not Roman Catholic.
Because you put it on your tongue and it set on fire.
If you believe
there you go, knock
in, I know. Sorry,
he's
I'm
getting fired up.
Channeling Danny Italian.
Yeah.
But if you believe in Jesus, what is the difference? What the actual name is? Like, we say the same prayers. We do the Methodists sing a little bit more, but whatever.
Because they said so.
But
right, it gets back to that power
Right.
and money thing that I mentioned before,
Right.
which unfortunately is ingrained in large organized religions. And I don't think there's anybody that wants to try to take me to task on that. I would, stop it. Look at how much money they're paying out on these lawsuits. They have a lot of money.
here's I never understood that. So I mean, if Freemasonry and the Roman Catholic Church is preaching pretty much the same thing, which is be a good person so that you can get into, I mean, the Catholic Church says so you can get into heaven and be with Jesus and all that stuff. And Freemasonry is just taking that, taking a little bit of that out, but saying still being, so you can get to that eternal building, not made with hands. Oh, excuse me, that, oh God, I'm ruining my ritual here. But spiritual building, not made with hands, eternal in the heavens.
Right, and
it's the same message.
But we call it
don't be
heaven.
Joe's rule number one.
Right, don't violate rule number one.
So Leo Taxel, by the way, is like the original troll. Look him up.
Why is Ken
our original troll?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I'm waiting for that Dragon Ball Z planet guy to
yeah.
See, this is the thing. We actually made comments. We said we're opening this up live for anybody.
But we knew this was going to happen.
I know. Of course it is.
We knew.
No, I know.
Because once you give them the form and they have to talk for more than, a 2-second comment in the feed, their arguments fall apart.
I understand. I just don't understand why the ones who are anti-Masons or against Masonry, you drop your comment and then you run. Wouldn't you want to stick around to see what would be said?
No, because trolls don't do that.
That's not. They just. It's like they're like seagulls. They come in, mess things up, and then fly away.
Also, we forgot to do our likes.
Oh yeah, let's do that while we're
just look down and see that
do
we
it.
Still have our cannons.
Do it.
Here. You want to do? You want me to do Instagram?
Yeah, do it. Because Joe's on.
We're doing stuff all out of order. We're too fired up tonight.
It's okay.
All right.
We wanted to give, while you're looking that up, Worship Brother Bob first. Faith, hope, and charity comes from the New Testament.
Correct.
Same idea, the church and the craft.
It's true.
So it's you can still believe in the teachings of Jesus if you're not a Christian. He said a lot of really good things.
Over on Instagram, new followers. I got followers. Woo. Zachary Taylor, Alex Beebe, and Brandon Sanders.
Very
I
nice.
thought it was going to be Zachary Taylor
We know
Thomas.
those names. How do we know those names? A couple of them are Discordians. I think.
I have no idea. I'm listening.
You know
to
who
the,
Zachary Taylor Thomas is, right? He was one of the kids.
He was one of the kids
Home
from
Improvement.
Yes, Home Improvement. Yeah,
Oh.
that's partially why I laugh, but I'm also reading the freaking comments, and these guys are
I can't keep up with them.
Tony V, Greg Schultz.
I'd
Joseph
like to know
Schultz are
the
on
message that
fire.
Josh Mantello retracted.
Yes.
Yeah. He started to write Worship Brother Greg something, and then he read that.
He probably put it in the Discord, which
Yep.
seems like a good time to mention that for as little as $5 a month, you too can join us on Patreon, which will give you exclusive access to all Discord content, which includes about 5 channels. Gives you, what else does it give you? There's the gold tone Freemasons podcast pin, and
Exclusive content.
yes, the exclusive Patreon content. That's what I was missing, Ken. Thank you. So exclusive content, all for as little as $5 a month. Join us on Patreon.
They're having their way with me today in the comments.
Yeah, it's mostly just them ranking on us.
Yeah, it's our own brothers. It's our own brothers who are just.
Why is Ken all in black? Is
Read
there a Johnny
Dr.
Cash?
Dr.
That's
Charlie has
what I'm going to do. I'm going to call him Dr. C. Masons here in Wilmington, Delaware, and the only insight I had heard was the rumor that Satan was involved in Freemasonry. I did not solicit the conversation, but it was brought up. Yes, this is a common reoccurrence that Lucifer, Satan is in our ritual. I can tell you 1,000% definitively he is not. He has never popped up. And again, I know the comment is always,
You're not
high enough. But I can tell you, I know
that's the universal cop out, right? Like
It's
the people
it
that say
is.
that we faked the moon landing, we're like, oh well, at the end, if you've dispelled everything else, well, you weren't
you're not
there.
high enough.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't on the moon. You're right. I guess we freaking faked it.
You got me.
It's
You
a
got me.
default.
I
It's a
wasn't
default argument. So don't say that. Don't say that I'm not a high enough Freemason. Out of the 3 of us here, I think we're affiliated with enough Masonic orders and know enough.
we would have
men
caught
who
wind
are
of something
high enough
right?
up in the order that we would have been like, hey, something's sketchy here.
Yeah, 'cause I know
So
a lot of brothers
don't
that
use
once
that.
they get a few drinks in them, they tell you everything.
They would loosen
Here's
up.
and I was just going to say that. That's just the thing. There is no organization on the entire planet, whether it's government, whether it's society, that is 1,000% secret.
Yep.
There is not. There is going to be one dude that you're going to just keep pushing a little bit of shine in front of him, or a little bit of the JMO, which is what I'm drinking
Or a
over
little
here.
bit of blackmail.
A little bit of
something,
that someone's
going.
going to spill the beans. I mean, that's what they have spy networks for, and they have double agents and stuff like that.
Because somebody is going to
So,
not be able to keep it secret.
Within our own rankings, I mean, with like you said, Ken, with all of the different bodies that we each belong to, you would have caught something.
Yeah, we would know.
And
something.
it has
Little
never
something.
been brought up ever in any degree. It's never even been made mention of. I know a while ago somebody said, what is your issue? What is your guys' issue with the snake, the snake symbolism? Because it doesn't, it's not that we have an issue with it.
From
It just,
where?
it was the spider monkey. It was
Oh, yes, the spider monkey guy.
yeah. He had said, what's your issue with the serpent symbol? Realistically,
I don't.
it's not
remember
that
ever
we have an
seeing one.
issue with it, but please tell me it's not ref. No. It's not that we have an issue with it, but it's just not relevant to what we do. The only time that the serpent ever comes up is in a Scottish Rite degree where Moses drops his staff and it turns into a snake.
Which is from the Bible, if I recall.
Which is from the
Like,
Bible,
I don't
right.
think, yeah. So it's really nothing. Like, it's not, it's
Yeah,
not
the
like
only-
we're doing like Harry Potter, Voldemort stuff with snakes and stuff. It doesn't appear in a recurring way in our ritual.
No, and the only time I've ever seen it show up is if it's like the snake biting its own tail, either in the form of a circle or in the form of an infinity symbol, which is not
Masonic.
necessarily a Masonic symbol.
Nope.
It is part of the clasp on my apron.
Yep.
But that's outside of that, I have not seen it really used in Freemasonry,
It's not
other than like infinity symbol.
Yeah.
That's an old symbol that predates Freemasonry.
You okay there?
Yeah, I had a little burp.
You okay?
No, but it's not that we have an issue with the snake symbol or the snake symbolism. It just doesn't play. I'm trying to think, and sorry, I'm getting caught up here, but I don't even think it's part of the chamber of reflection, because I know there's a ton of symbols you can put on the side of the chamber of reflection. You got the cock, you got the excuse me, Joe, the rooster. I seen you, but
I just don't want to get flagged by YouTube.
no,
I don't remember ever seeing a snake in any of the
No,
chambers of
no,
reflection that I've
nope,
been in. So.
Nope. Not even in the Knights Templar.
It was in the Harry Potter and the Chamber of
Yes,
Secrets.
it was in the Chamber of
It
Secrets.
was in the Chamber of Secrets.
That's
which is
actually
not
Harry
Masonic.
Potter, and that's
Right.
not Freemason.
That is not Freemasonry in no way. However, the Philosopher's Stone is actually
Yes, that's
part of our
Yep.
Chamber of Reflection ceremony. But
And she stole little bits of history and
of course she
and
did.
lore because it made sense. It made the story a little bit more
yeah,
believable.
because I like Nicholas Flamel was a real
Yeah,
person.
he was an
that-
alchemist.
Yeah.
Herbert Nelson just said snake clips on the. I know he said snack clips, and now everyone's going to start jumping on him. But
the side of the aprons.
hey,
Yeah,
Clover
that's-
Style
yeah.
Hitman, welcome. He said the snake clips on the sides of the aprons. Asked my lodge, and nobody thinks it actually means it. It
No,
doesn't.
It's just something that's
It's
an
just-
interesting way to snap
And-
your apron together.
And realistically, I mean, you can't. Tell me you put on the apron with the where you have to put it in sideways and then
Yes,
twist.
I-
They're right.
I haven't. I never
Nightmare.
get it the right way.
No, you never get it the right way. No, they're a pain. So these ones is just you have a hoop, and you got like an S
It's an S clip
clip
that
and it
they
clips
turned
on.
into a snake because it's an S.
Because it's the only shape you can
Make
I'm
reason-
curious
make
about
in
my
an ornate way. And
I'm curious about my past master apron. Hold on. Keep going.
Yeah, that's where my past master's apron is the one that has it. My Grand Lodge apron does not have it. Yeah, there it is. Yeah.
Yep, you got
gotta
the same
go put it
one.
up to the camera so people
Yeah,
can
it's just
see.
it's just a stylized S clip. That's all. I never even really noticed that they were snakes, but yeah, it's pretty typical.
There's a
There
little
you
bit of a
go.
delay. So.
You're good. You're good. You can kind of see it. Hold it still. Yep, there you go, right there. So that's what we're talking about. It's just an S clip. Right, but he's got like that fuzzy, fancy apron. You got to have, you can't just have a regular S clip. It's got to be in a
Right, it's gotta be
interesting
ornate.
style, and why not a snake?
that me and Joe a while ago did a fancy bling apron show off thing, and we never did it again. But
That's the one that the Schultz cousin ruined, right?
yeah.
That's the one that I never went to because my apron's not like yours.
What?
So yeah, this is my past master apron right there, and
Yeah, it's got little balls on it.
yeah, well, that's why I always say they're like, "Oh, George, what are you doing? Playing with balls." Because I literally
Of course.
We got a different
Have 'em on
kind
the
of
apron. They're
different
on
kind
the
of apron on the front of the bar here. Do we want to talk about that? Or
Oh, do we want to talk about that while we're waiting
What?
to hear?
Well, there's
From our-
additional
there's a
bling.
new
Oh, yeah,
addition
go ahead,
to
Joe.
the, so I'll hold it up here, but
Does it have snake clips?
It does not have snake clips on it. But this is something that you and I actually came up with the idea
Long time.
over a year ago.
With the NWO.
We were going to do
thing.
a whole NWO skit with, I think we were going to do something out on the street. Like, it really digressed into something that probably wasn't a great idea.
No,
But the
so
two things that came out of it were...
Can I tell what happened? So just to jog everyone's
Yeah, go
memory?
ahead, go ahead.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to have like a Freemasons podcast board meeting with Rafferty and all that up here, and we're going to have HR up here, and they're going to be sitting there. All right, let's talk about one of the next segments, and we need to really cover this NWO issue that the Freemasons are like the New World Order.
Right,
And then
right.
me, you, and
Oh,
Ken
that was
bust.
right around the time the Illuminati...
Yeah.
were trying to
And me, you,
infiltrate
and
us,
Ken
yeah.
were going to bust in the door like, oh, Yeah. Like it all.
And like, oh,
Playing the belt.
yes, like and that we misunderstood
Yeah.
NWO, and we're
Yeah.
going to do that whole thing.
And then Raph be like, what the hell are you doing?
So the two things that kind of came out of that whole discussion were, one, the design of the shirt,
Oops.
which you can find at Designs by Susie on Facebook, or FMP, which is an NWO style shirt. But
I have another shirt design.
Which is it?
It's just going to be a picture of Lucinda.
Oh, I will buy your entire stock.
Now you got Ken all worked up.
Yeah.
But I actually bought some stuff a while ago, and just for whatever reason, just never sat down to make this. But we now have our official Freemasons Podcast Championship belt.
And man, I'm looking at the construction, and
It's solid.
you did it right, man.
Yeah,
You did it
it's
right.
this isn't my first rodeo.
No,
I've
it's
actually
very professional.
I used to make these probably about like 15 years ago,
Wow.
where I could get these straps relatively cheap, and I would make these things and I would resell them on eBay for like $250.
And look at these snaps. I mean, it goes from like George size all the way up to like, you know.
Yeah, like this.
Big
I
boy.
knew it was
I
coming.
think this would fit Rafferty.
Yeah.
Um,
It's one
I doubt
size
that.
fits
One size fits
many.
most.
Link's Riser just popped
What?
on. Yep. In the comments.
The hell you say? Oh my God, it's Lynx Riser. What's
What's
up, my
going
brother?
on, brother?
Wow, we haven't heard
Links.
from him in quite some time.
No, we haven't.
He exists, and his first comment to us after like a year and a half after COVID and everything else is yo, hey yo.
Well, I mean, poor
Hey,
Lakes,
yo.
man. He had
Yo.
not only the COVID, but he had the
I know.
fires and all that. Remember the
know,
fires
yeah.
down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he wasn't justified in going dark on us there. It was just an interesting.
So, couple
opening
things.
message to
I
it.
just want to just because I'm losing the feed quick. Not the feed, but I'm losing the comments as they're zipping in here. Is George going to dress up as Washington for the 200th episode?
I know a
And
guy.
then-
I know a guy that has a George Washington suit.
Yeah, you got
I
a
know a
powder
guy.
wig.
Brother Fair says I could make that happen. I could do
Yeah,
George
he's
to
the
be
guy
George.
that I know that has the suit.
I think we need to have worship brother Bob. Why don't you come up here next podcast?
Yeah, he almost was going to come tonight, but he couldn't make it in time. He
All right, all
He was
right.
cooking dinner and some other things, but he was going
We'd
to try
love
to
to
make
have
it
you
up.
up here.
Yeah, because he's not far from here. He's right down the road. He doesn't live far at all.
And
Not
then
give away his location. But.
Tony V says, my wife says jokingly, are you going to your cult meeting? Oh, let's talk about this. The cult thing. How did this even come about? That we're a
That
cult.
we're a cult? Well, I think it goes back to the fact that we're a bunch of guys who get together and don't really openly discuss what happens during our meetings, even though there are no real, terrible secrets going on. It's just we took an obligation that we're not going to talk about, what goes on in our meetings. And whenever you do anything in secret, it leaves room for interpretation, and the human mind loves coming up with all manner of nonsense to fill in those blanks.
So I put this out there, right? I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to say this. You ever been driving down the road and you pass
Never.
by like a restaurant and you're like, I wonder what it's like in there. We should go eat there. Or I wonder what it's like in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to compare it to masonry. If you want to know what it's like in there and how the food is,
Go find out.
go find out.
Yeah. Go ask. Or
Go
ask,
ask.
ask somebody who works there.
Right. Or just join. And if you don't like it, maybe it's not for you. I mean, how many Masons have we had that have passed through your guys' lodge's doors that they came, they saw, you never seen them
They're like,
again?
Yeah. And they decided
Well,
maybe it
well.
wasn't for them, which is fine. That's
There's nobody holding you to a
Right.
flame here. So
And that's probably the number one piece of evidence that I would provide that we're not a cult, is that you're free to leave anytime you
Oh,
want.
yeah. Even if you're a full-fledged member, I could burn my dues card right now and no longer be a Mason. Well, I'd have to
And you
go.
wouldn't
I'd have
get
to tell the
shunned.
secretary and stuff
Right.
that I'm doing it. But yeah,
But you
yeah.
wouldn't get shunned. We could still be friends. We
Yeah.
couldn't communicate masonically.
Right, we couldn't sit and lodge together.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure you wouldn't stab me in the face.
No, but I'd come over to your house and drink a beer.
Yeah.
Tony V says, I never tell her the truth. I go there to get away from her and 2, almost 3 teenage boys. You might want to redact that comment right now. You might want to take that out.
Well,
of
it's too late because
there.
you just read it.
I hope she doesn't
And-
catch wind of it.
Now you want to talk about cults?
No, I mean-
Gangrene cult.
They're a cult.
They're absolutely.
Yes.
And I don't think you can get out.
No,
You can retire,
you
but
can
you're still
retire.
in.
you can't get in either unless they vote you in.
Yeah,
from what I
that's
understand.
more cult-like.
James Devaney said the same thing, and I said it correctly.
Yes.
Devaney.
Well, it's only taken 190 episodes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so we have this thing in Discord. If nobody knows, it's called the Gangrene, and they are the hecklers that come in when new guys come in. They pick on you. They have a go at you.
It's more than picking on. It's a hazing. It's a flat out hazing.
It's borderline cyberbullying,
but
but they don't cross that line.
But they're paying for it.
but the,
Yeah, you're paying.
For as little as $5 a month, you too can be on Discord and get hazed by Gangrene.
but it's kind of like a rite of passage to join the boys, I guess you could say, in the Discord chats and all that stuff. And they are funny. And they have their main question, which is
Over or under.
over or under.
And we can't even agree on that. So how are we going to take over the world?
It's true.
But I've got before we go further, I've got a charge like burning a hole in my cannon here, and
All right.
Yeah, I keep trying to get George to like come up with a toast here, and I read.
So I got a
I-
toast.
okay.
I got a toast.
Not good.
And I want to toast to a couple of brothers who have been having a tough go with their health. Right Worshipful Chip Schofield I spoke to today, as well as Worshipful Brother Greg Schultz. I haven't had a chance to call Holiday yet, but
holiday.
I know they're having a tough go with their health, and I just want to toast these brothers, two of which I spoke to. The third one I didn't get to because we have, I don't know, whatever the hell this is outside.
Rain.
It's a
Oh,
tropical storm Elsa.
no, that's not what
tomorrow.
this is. This is just
Tomorrow?
a light
It's
rain,
tomorrow. This is
Really?
just
thunder,
summer.
thunder showers.
This is just summertime.
You really can't use this as an excuse. It's just
Well,
weather.
Either way,
And it's not raining inside.
I want to toast to these brothers'
Or
health.
on your phone. Like,
Yeah,
right on.
because it's like
We're done. It's okay.
1896 where the phones don't work when it's raining. But whatever.
You gotta wind them up.
I was at work.
Whatever.
It's cool. Usual vacation.
Let's
Get
say
it.
you're at work. Don't blame it on the rain. Were you freaking Milli Vanilli? Yeah. Gotta blame it
I
on
work
something.
outside, unlike an air-conditioned office.
Brethren,
right hand arms. To arms.
To arms.
Ready.
Ready.
Aim.
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 Fire, good fire, fire all. Together, brothers.
Vivat! Vivat! Vivat!
All right. What do we have here? Puppet George is capable of taking over the world. Links. Marriage
there
is
already.
like domination.
Oh, here's we got something from Clover. I know it says Clover Style Hitman now, but the E I thought was an S, and I almost pronounced it as something else. So Clover Style Hitman. Have you guys ever discussed the connection between the Masons and the Order of the Arrow and Boy Scouts? We have not.
I think we might have mentioned it in an episode, but we never really talked about it.
No, and there
point.
is a the Masonic Scouters Association, right? That we can certainly get somebody up and talk about, because there are a lot of connections there. I actually know somebody who's not a Mason, who's a member of the Order of the Arrow, and he's actually looking into becoming a Mason. But it's, I think that's definitely, there's some connections there, and usually a lot of those, maybe not that particular ceremony, but there are a lot of ceremonies and things that the Scouts actually invite the Masons to. So there's definitely a connection there, and that's something that we'll certainly explore. Thank you.
Yeah, Boy Scouts of America were formed by Masons, or at least two Masons, I believe. And yeah, I have a friend too who's a member of the Order of the Arrow, and he was saying that there seems to be a lot of parallels there, and there's a lot of Native American symbolism and ritual involved in that particular part
And
of the Boy Scouts as well. But
Brother Maxwell is most worshipful past Grand Master, brother.
he's involved in the
He's involved.
Masonic Scouters Association.
Yeah, so maybe we can get him to come up.
Brother Jack Braddock is a member. Yeah, so
One of the other
we'll
episodes
work on it.
topics.
Worshipful Brother Darren Sohavi is as well. Thank you, Brother Bob.
One of the other things I want to talk about, another orders that we haven't had. It has nothing to do with Masonry. It's its own separate. But a long time ago, we had in Morningstar. We were also shared the building with another organization called the Improved Oh God, I'm gonna screw this up.
Improved Order of the Red Men.
Thank you. The
You're
Improved Order of the Red Men, and I'd like to cover that. It's a patriotic degree, and there are many Masons like Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and I think it was Harry S.
I
Truman.
think Teddy Roosevelt as well. I think both
Teddy,
Roosevelts.
They were also orders of the the Improved Order of the Red Men, and I'd like to cover that one because I mean it's there's so many different orders that are interwoven with Freemasonry, but
Yes.
separate, like your Odd Fellows and.
Well, there's even, and I've been trying to get them to
And not
come
like an
on.
odd fellow like Joe over here. Just
I'm not that odd.
The Order of the Oddfellows.
order of the
Oh, which reminds me of something that I want to bring up, that somebody sent us a video earlier in the week for a possible discussion that kind of fits in the conspiracy theories. But before we get to that, so I want to finish. I've been trying to reach out to brothers from the Order of the Sword of Bunker Hill. The closest chapter is in Rhode Island, which I'm a member of. And it's not an independent body, but it's a, and I don't even know that they specifically call it a degree. There is a ritual and a degree that goes with it, but it's an order that's within Freemasonry that celebrates the freedoms that we have here in America, and it's named and formed after General Joseph Warren, who died at Bunker Hill. And that's what it's alluding to with the Sword of Bunker Hill. But yeah, there are a lot of these orders that are out there that are kind of cool little offshoots. And they used to travel pre-COVID. They would travel all around New England and put on this degree. But they have not been very responsive during COVID, which I understand. It happens.
So a couple things. One, Ken, what do we have for time?
We are. Oh, good call.
36:18.
So we're 36 minutes in with.
36:28 actually, because we got a 10-second delay on there.
All right, so we're 36 minutes in, and
Not a hater.
not
to
a
be found.
hater to be found.
That's fine. James Devaney says the Order of the Arrow was a Discord conversation. Okay, so I got that mixed up.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought we had talked about it on here, but thank you.
And we
brother.
do, and you know, that's another good thing about Discord is we do have there's a lot of horseplay that goes on, but we do have a channel that's Masonic information.
Yeah,
And
there's some serious.
there's
talk
some
on
serious talk in there. Let's see here. Have any of the hosts been Boy Scouts? Worship Brother Greg asks.
I was a Cub Scout up until I got my Bobcat badge. I got my Wolf badge. I wanted to get my Bear badge because that's when I got a knife. And
Oh, yeah.
And then my father said there's no way in hell I was getting a knife, so then I quit. That's a true story.
Yeah, I was a Boy Scout. I never made it to Eagle Scout, so I didn't go quite that high. But I was a Boy Scout.
I was never part of either one of them.
Oh,
That doesn't surprise
you went into the Marine Corps.
me.
I was actually part of an organization called the Young Marines.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah.
Is that almost like a ROTC kind of deal, or?
It was for kids, and there's no way that the people who were teaching this
in charge of
Young
the youth.
Marines thing
Yeah.
were actually ever Marines.
Oh, really? They were not?
No.
That should be a
I
requirement.
think only the guy who was like the leader of the organization was, I think, a retired Marine. But
And they were just like, we can't find enough Marine dads to like take over each one of these little.
let's put it this way, and I'm going to say this as politely and nicely as I could. One of the guys who was one of supposedly the teacher, Marines, or whatever, was the equivalent of 3 Marines standing side by side looking at him from the back, if that makes any sense. He was a
doing the mental
large
calculations.
man.
Okay.
Large man. And if you're in the Marines,
That's not.
no. So no, I was never got into Boy Scouts or anything like that. So unfortunately, there's certain things that I wish I would have done. I guess everybody does the whole retrospect and hindsight.
Like grow?
Like
Like aspire to be tall.
I'll give you that one. No, but there's this is why like when people say like oh I wish I would have joined Masonry when I was younger. I wish I would have done it. It's like do it.
Do it.
You do it when you're ready.
Do it when you're ready, and if it's something you're tossing around to do it. I mean, what's the harm? It's what a month, one night out of the month for 3 months that you have to take your degrees, and if you think it sucks afterward, don't go back.
Yeah, and if you go and meet the guys at the
Maybe
lodge
come
and you
back.
don't feel like it's for you or that lodge is not for you, it's fine. You can find another lodge to petition, or you can just not become a Mason if you so choose. Nobody's going to come gunning for you.
Herbert Nelson, what are the age requirements for young Marines? Is it a late teens or earlier? Asking because I wonder if it's a recruiting idea. Yes and no. I don't even know if it's around anymore. It had a bunch of kids in it, and each teacher had his own. I don't know why the hell we even got on this. That's fine.
Because of you.
Yeah, I know, because of me. Josh, one night a month. Yeah, right. But anyway, they were each so-called Marine teacher or whatever would have a different age show. I think it was all the way from like 8 all the way up till teens or whatever. And obviously, you would advance as you got older. You'd advance to the next level. And we used to do camping trips and stuff like that. And it was supposed to teach. It almost paralleled the Boy Scouts,
Right.
but
It
it
was
was just
competition.
called the Young Marines.
But hey, there was something I wanted to get into, kind of bringing us back to our original topic. Somebody, and I apologize, sent us a message with a video earlier in the week about a brother who had denounced Freemasonry as he became born again, and and it was I think about a 45-minute interview. George, I'll take one of those as well, please. About a 45-minute interview and all the reasons why he decided to denounce Freemasonry. And I was actually waiting. I was a little disappointed because I was thinking that there would be something juicy there, something that he would give us that was kind of outlandish and kind of over the top, and there really wasn't. So I kind of respect him for that. He just chose a different path. But
that's
one of
fine.
the things that had come up, is and he brought
you
it
don't
up
need
in his
one for that
interview.
beer, by the way, George.
Well, he might. But one of the things that had come up is the definition of Freemasonry, and this you can pull from Wikipedia. And he was hung up on a particular word, and I'm just going to read the definition according to Wikipedia. And Freemasonry is described in its own ritual as beautiful or peculiar system of morality, veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols.
It's from the UGLE.
And his big hang-up was the word peculiar,
Oh,
where
okay.
peculiar, and here's the thing, meanings of words change over time. Much like the word, and the word gay has changed over time to describe different things. You hear it in Christmas carols. It means something totally different than the context of today.
Correct.
So when you look at peculiar, and his reasoning was it's right there. It's a peculiar meaning strange or odd. And it's like it's right there. They're telling you right. It's a strange system of morality, or it's an odd system of morality.
Not always what it meant.
And that's, I don't get that reference, but
It's fishing. It's fishing to look for something that's
No. And this was somebody who decided to move away from Freemasonry
Right.
because of his.
so.
recent
And he was like,
religious
"Oh, the whole time
C'est la vie.
it was right there. They told me right from the beginning that it was peculiar and it was odd. So it's an odd system of morality. But if you look at the meaning of the word peculiar from older English and the time that UGLE was formed,
Yep.
and when they used
and they
it,
came up with this beautiful synopsis of Freemasonry.
it means private, belonging to one group, something unlike others, special, remarkable.
Yep.
That was the definition when when the United Grand Lodge of England put that definition in place. It didn't mean strange, odd, different.
Occultish.
Right.
It's
So that's, if somebody ever throws that back at you, peculiar didn't mean the same thing then as it does now. So keep that in mind. I thought that was very interesting, and that is probably the biggest thing I took away from that video that was sent in. Just Yeah, okay. You could twist it that way, but you're not understanding the true
because
meaning.
you're taking it out of context. You
Exactly.
can twist anything any way that you want. Bill Powell says that we should dress up as George Washington's horse.
Dibs on the front.
I guess I got the back.
Josh Mantello, he says, and I want to address
pronouncing
this.
his
He
name
says,
correct?
ha, 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 one night a month. Realistically, and I mean, I know for a lot of us, what would you call us, Masonic veterans, like, yeah, you get it to a point where it becomes more if you so choose.
Only if you want it. Exactly.
If you so choose.
Only if you want
But
it.
realistically, when you're first coming in the door of Freemasonry, it's really one night a month for a little while. And then, again, if you decide to volunteer to be an officer of the lodge, then it becomes one night a month plus maybe committee meetings. And then it becomes, you follow what I'm getting at?
But you know what it is walking into it.
Yeah,
It's
you
not
know
like
it-
we don't tell you what you're.
And you could always say no.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
it's just that simple.
I'm sorry to do this, but I actually have to step away and make a.
No,
phone
do what
call.
you got to.
It's Associate Grand Almoner business.
Almoner's business.
Somebody's
Dig it.
reaching out with an urgent need, and I want to go take care of that. Okay. So.
You
I'll
do
be
See
there.
if I can get out of the way so that you can move past me. Putting you in the middle probably wasn't the smartest idea ever.
Make him crawl under the. Make him crawl under the.
Oh
dice.
yeah, put the Associate Grand Almoner in the middle. Okay, there we go.
Not no troll in here today because they saw the Schultz brothers and they're scared them away.
Daniel Valdez
Scares
says
me.
we just had an earthquake.
Yeah.
so he's like live blogging. Like
That's awesome.
Live
Well, not the earthquake, but
earthquake.
where we're at, Dan. If you don't mind me asking if you're still on, I hope you are. But
I hope you're okay.
I hope you're okay,
All
and I hope
your
your family's okay.
Possessions and family are
If
okay.
you need anything, feel free to shout out. Going back on what Joe was saying about the guy who had an issue with the Freemasons and something they did.
Well, I mean, he
I-
recently he was born again, and he decided to either renounce or terminate his pursuit of Freemasonry as a result.
And that's
of it.
fine. That's totally
Yeah,
fine.
that's okay.
Again, this is a voluntary thing. I just want to say one other thing, though, okay? And kind of alluding to this. When you decide to join Freemasonry, make sure you're joining a recognized lodge. Because I had a buddy of mine who said he was a Mason, and he turned out he was part of some Grand Lodge of Orlando or some crap like that.
Yep, there was
And
one
they-
that came visited our.
And they
lodge,
said
too.
there's, I'm part of the United Grand Lodge of Orlando.
Yeah.
What?
Clanny.
And
But
that
they
makes
don't
you a
know.
clandestine Mason. And the reason why I'm
didn't know.
saying this is because one of the things he said was they actually beat him with paddles.
Jesus Christ. They also pay an extraordinary amount of dues because there's insurance that comes along with it.
And that's not
Like life
something
insurance and stuff, which,
no.
no regular Masonic lodge or Masonic
So with that
Grand Lodge will ever.
being said, when you watch YouTube videos of somebody who's saying, "Oh, I got out of the Masons because they were bad and they beat me and they were a cult and they were blah 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 blah," just be sure,
Do your research and know which.
because that's one of the first things I want to know.
Masons, yeah.
When I watch one of these videos and he's like, "Oh, I left the Masons because they were abusive and they were beating, they fined me thousands of dollars and they were after my family and blah blah blah," whatever the hell it is. What lodge were you from?
Oh, well, the
What
P2
was
Lodge
your
in Italy.
No, honestly, what lodge were you from?
Yeah.
And what grand jurisdiction did you belong to?
Yep.
Because if you tell me the United Grand Lodge of Orlando or Chesapeake or wherever,
Yeah.
guess what?
Yep, and that,
You are not a Mason.
and their whole expose, A, it's going to influence people, and B, it's going to give everyone the completely wrong interpretation of the craft because we don't operate that way. That's a good point.
So I just want people to be very, very careful about what you watch and what you hear, because there's clandestine Masons out there.
Not all, quote, Masons are created equal.
Correct.
Yep.
I guess I will give. I guess I can take the Catholic Church's side on this one. Let me explain.
Okay.
Because we as Freemasons don't recognize clandestine Masons.
Correct.
So why would the Catholic Church recognize other forms of Christianity? Because they consider them clandestine.
There you go. Yeah, mind blown.
See?
I mean, we can have rules too. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said because they said so. Because you can, you have your own society, your own group, your own private club. You can have your own rules.
You must not look at the
your
monitor.
own religion, whatever.
You must not look at the monitor too often over there.
Every so often. I mean,
Joseph Schultz.
Crap,
So wait,
there's been a rash of things since I last.
Joseph Schultz. So wait, there is no Grand Lodge of Hooters. I got ripped.
No. Yeah,
And
might as
yes,
well
I do read your comments.
burn that dues card.
Oh God, that's funny.
Wow.
He says, Daniel Valdez, 6.2 from the Mono Lake area. I'm assuming it's like California.
Mono Lake. I think Mono Lake is like
Is it California?
like
Dan?
Nevada.
Nevada. Ooh.
Like I know that term, and I don't know where it's one of the places that I visited. Okay, well, I look like an idiot now.
Can there be a Grand Lodge of Gangrene? You boys can do whatever you want in there. I just want to be clear about something, and I need to state this yet again that in no way, shape, or form you can get information. Well, let me start with this. You can get information about Freemasonry even if you're a petitioner. You don't even have to be a Mason to be part of Discord or Patreon. You do not have to be a Mason. We have yellow tags in there, which is petitioner supporter, and that's it. I want to be clear about something. In Discord, we do not talk about Mason-related.
We don't communicate Masonically.
We don't communicate. Thank you.
Right.
We don't
because it
communicate
is not
Masonically.
a tiled lodge.
It's not a tiled lodge.
Masons will not do
and
that.
the conduct in there is just, primarily guys in there, just fooling around.
Yep.
We're just having a go like guys do. Like know.
And before you get all crazy and say it's not inclusive, by the way, if you pay little as $5 a month,
we did have
you
a female.
can become a Discordian and you can come in and speak. We have female Discordians.
We did have one. We had HR was in there. She was a female. Yep. Here's the thing, though. Discord is not for the faint of heart. I say it to every single person that goes in there. Yeah. You're going to get your balls busted. Develop leather skin. It is not. And understand.
It's a give and take relationship.
Here's the thing, though. And I will say this, okay? We do have, I want to make this another mention. We have a GoFundMe page for Worshipful Brother Greg Schultz. Mm-hmm. We're trying to raise money for him to help battle his cancer, just like we did with Worshipful Brother Chip Schofield, Right Worshipful Brother Chip Schofield. Yep. So please, if you can, go donate, take part in it. Please.
Yep. So we bust each other's stones, but we also
bust each other's stones. But the very first people to start adding to that money to that fund for Worship Brother Greg
or Discord.
Yep. They're like a giant dysfunctional family. It's the best way I can explain it.
Yep.
But there is a Masonic info channel, and there are hidden channels that are only open for those who are part of it. For instance, we have a Scottish Rite channel. Yep. We have a York Rite channel. We have a Shriners channel. We have other channels in there that you can go there and you can get Masonic information. Hey, man, I got a question about the 15th degree and everything. And by the way, when you went into those channels, if you want to get added to it, you need to prove to me you're a Scottish Rite Mason or you're a York Rite Mason. Like, I need to know what commander you hail from or some sort of proof. So it is, in a sense, tiled, not tiled. But you could ask a question about, like, the 15th degree. Right. Hey, I'm
nobody's going to go word for word on any of the obligations.
No.
You can ask.
But I mean, it is open. It is there for you, and you don't have to be a Mason. I want to make that clear. If you're a non-Mason, you can join Discord, Patreon. You can catch our extra content in the horsing around.
If you just like Masons, have a relative who's a Mason, you don't really want to become a Mason, but you want to support us, hey, that's cool too.
Yeah, fine with that. You can join Discord and you can ask all the questions you want. So, let's see here.
I got one from Brother Josh Mantello here. He said, I spoke with a brother who left a Clandy lodge who's now part of a regular lodge. He had a scar from a puncture wound. Jesus.
Yeah.
From a certain part of a certain degree.
Good God. That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, the story from the guy who visited my home lodge that one time was just that he was paying exorbitant amounts of money per year for dues, and that there was life insurance and all kinds of other stuff that was conferred as part of that. He was part of that Grand Lodge of Orlando too, by the way. But yeah, there was no bodily damage. He wasn't showing any scars or puncture wounds or anything. That's terrifying, man.
The only time I've ever seen blood ever being drawn was at a Masonic thing. It was by accident.
When I cut my finger cutting carrots at freaking dinner we were having. Or
We had a
something.
dude who was wearing a blindfold, and he went to kneel and missed the kneeler. Bow, busted his knee open. Like, but there's no ever physical harm being done to you. So if you join a lodge, well, we'll call it a lodge, that they're doing physical harm to you or beating you, or
And then it's not a Masonic.
it's not a Masonic
Not
lodge.
A regular Masonic.
I mean,
lodge.
third degree, there's a little bit of ruffian, if you will. We'll leave it at that. But
When you become a steward, you may draw blood preparing those green beans for dinner. It's just a rite of passage.
Daniel Valdez on the border of California and Nevada. You were right. So it's right there. Well, I hope you're good. That's
Yeah.
pretty wild. We're getting hit with a hurricane. I don't give a shit.
This is not a hurricane. Maybe tomorrow we might get.
Dude, I'm getting
what's
the
left of a
notifications
tropical
on my
depression.
phone saying that it's a hurricane advisory.
No, I ignored
Hurricane
the last
statement.
one of those I got on my phone a couple of years ago. It was like tornado warning, shelter in place.
Yeah,
and I got in
and
my
look
car
what
and drove
happened.
home. Yeah, and I got stuck in a tornado. It went right by my car. Yeah, it sucked. So yeah, heed those warnings, ladies and gentlemen. Be safe. We're just joking.
Worship Brother Greg Schultz, do goats bite asking for a friend? Yeah. I thought we would have had a lot more people on here.
I've never been close enough to a goat to know whether they bite or not.
I really, really, really wish that we had the naysayers on here that would have joined and actually.
Well, they don't want to come on and
participated.
have a Q&A. They want to drop a comment and then disappear. So
Because I'm sure it's
by
you
inviting them.
guys molest goats. No. There is a degree. We've talked about it before. That is the perfect craftsman degree. That at one point they did a field day. And this is going back like the 1920s. This isn't something that's modernly done. So anybody who's part of PETA can chill out. We don't have goats. And it's more
Well,
of a joke thing.
I don't
For
even
instance,
think there were goats back then. I think it was just a joke.
I think it was a
started
joke,
back
yeah.
in the 20s, and there were
you had to ride the
postcards
goat.
and-
You had to
yeah.
ride the goat. If you screwed up in this one particular part of
Right.
it, you had to ride the goat. And
But nobody ever rode a goat.
no, nobody rode a
That I
goat. As a
know
matter
of.
of fact, we had poor worship brother Ryan. He was puking in the bushes, telling him that he had to ride the goat. And oh man, you better be careful.
Yeah,
Hope they
and
fed
you
him.
know
Hope
what?
they
I
fed
mean,
him.
here's the
He
thing.
was so nervous. He was just.
Yeah, you're really not supposed to do that either. Like there
You're
is
not so-
the
well,
conventional wisdom.
So here's the
especially-
thing. Here's the thing. This wasn't during his EA, so he wasn't like a new guy coming to the door. It was for his MM. So he was already an established brother, and it's horseplay. And it was. I understand. Also, this wasn't during Open Lodge. This wasn't during his vestment before the degree. This was like me and worship brother Phil busting his balls downstairs, smoking a cigarette.
Oh, okay.
Well, before Lodge had even started. So it's. And again, all three of us were Marines, so
Yeah,
it's just
and the other thing
general
is, right,
horseplay.
Right. It's one thing if you guys all kind of know each other, and it's okay in certain contexts. But yeah, but by default, I mean, I would never do that to a petitioner or a new brother. Like if you're a brother out there and you're about to put somebody through a degree, don't do that to them. It's just it's messed up. It's not right.
Worship Brother Bob says, I thought there were sheep and cows. There is at the farm degree. Not sheep, though. No.
It depends which farm degree you go to. There's a new one now in our jurisdiction,
Really?
actually. Yeah.
In ours?
Yeah. I think it's up
Third-
in...
wait,
God,
wait.
I'd have to look it up. I saw it in the Connecticut Freemasons.
I thought you
yeah.
meant our district. I'm like, what?
No.
There's no way they're having a farm degree in the valley. It's just not happening.
in the state, as far as I know, there's only one other one outside of Worship Brother Joe's
Hey, Luna.
home lodge, his farm degree. There was...
There were cows there.
I want to say it was...
Ryan's car got molested by a cow. Hilarious.
That's what it is. At least it
Ken
wasn't a
will
goat.
never ride the goat after a mistake. He just reboots.
I don't even get it. Does that mean like I put...
Josh
boots on?
McCrae, Hawk Ego. Oh, don't do this. Come on with the Latin, Josh. he's I'm not even going to look it up. I'll
No,
look it
don't
up
do
later.
it, yeah.
What do we have for time?
So
We
we
got
are
no haters,
officially
no trolls.
58 minutes and 37 seconds, and nobody has crapped on our feed yet. It's
I guess we're just
amazing.
going to have to just, like...
I guess we are without opponents.
Yeah. It's not even opponents.
Right?
It's
so
like...
we are the de
left
facto
the door-
default champions of the podcast.
We left the door open for you to make comments or ask about whatever. What about the Eye of Horus or some shit like that?
That thing I got tattooed on my arm.
Nothing.
I
It
didn't
is the
even
Eye
wanna
of
say-
Horus.
I
on your
probably
arm.
shouldn't say anything about that. Never mind.
I mean, the Eye of Providence or the Eye of Horus has been since the Egyptian times. It's just traveled from religion to religion throughout the ages.
Yep.
Just like everything else, just like the cross, just like the crescent, like it travels.
Yep.
It's usually by war conquest, right? One group of peoples. Perfect example would be the Greeks and the Romans. The Greeks came before the Romans defeated the Greeks, and then took their gods and renamed them, but still the same concept, still the same monotheistic religion, correct? Polytheistic, excuse me.
Yeah.
Right?
But yes, yeah, they basically just renamed them.
I mean, look at their columns.
They all had the same meanings and stuff. It was just a different name. But yes.
What's the one that was the oh god, the composite?
Yeah.
The composite.
Yeah, they
pillar.
rehashed the orders of architecture as well.
And we even say to the Greeks and not the Romans, we give credit.
Right.
Because these were the originals. All they did was just add more shit to it.
There was no innovation.
It is no different between religion. Same thing.
Well, I think that's a generalization. But yeah,
It's a generalization. But you get my point, though.
Yes.
Okay.
I still side with the fact that Freemasonry is... Oh, my God. I can't even speak when you're like this. That Freemasonry embraces all world religions. There are very few out there that I would say are incompatible with the tenets of the order.
Now read the comments section.
I really shouldn't. Never.
This is why I'm glad you got the computer. I shouldn't even read the comments. I'm glad you got the computer now because some of these are just you can't. Where's it? Yeah, nope, that's not the.
Yeah, we're not reading that one. Nope.
Well, what the hell then? Because Joseph Schultz says, Worship Brother Joe says, I never read his comments. He goes, "Where's Zanito? Is he dropping a deuce?"
No, he's unofficial Grand Lodge.
Specinea
right
in
now.
Deo West. Yes, that is one of our Latin that we do know. And I think
I don't
that's
know that one. Is that from Scottish Rite?
Scottish Rite. Yeah.
No,
Shame
I'm not
on
Scottish
you.
Rite.
Shit. You're
What?
not?
I'm not Scottish
Oh,
Rite.
he is. That's
Dude,
right.
I'm York Rite.
That's right.
Not there yet.
I never understand why Freemasonry is viewed differently from other fraternal organizations.
Well,
Probably because we popped up around, what is it, not the Renaissance.
Well, no, irregardless, or
The
I
Great
shouldn't say that.
Schism.
Irregardless is not a word. Come on, Ken. Regardless, we're the oldest.
Right.
Right, so you got a bunch of other organizations that are taking chunks from our ritual, from our symbolism, and you've got a lot of other organizations that are out there that are fraternal orders that are not secretive like we are.
Correct.
Right, a lot of them are social
And
orders.
a lot of them
A lot
are,
of them are
mirrored off of us.
right. So you've got. I mean, there are very few that I would say derived from Freemasonry that are as secretive or more secretive than Freemasonry. The Skull and Bones would be one.
Yep.
The other organizations that are out
Elks.
there, the Elks, okay, the
Knights
Rotary,
of
the
Columbus.
Knights of Columbus. These organizations don't have the reputation of being as secretive as Freemasons, right? Plus, Freemasonry's been around for so long. We had anti-Masonic political movements here in the United States, and I'm sure it happened elsewhere around the world as well, where there were anti-Masonic sentiments in the general populace, and it turned into kind of, this open,
Right.
not combat, but a front against
Disdain.
right? Yeah, disdain for the order. So it's, I don't know.
What do you think,
I
Kenny?
think that's pretty much what it has to do with.
I'm rather upset by this episode, but
Yeah,
I hope
I keep looking back, thinking that somebody's going to
nothing.
jump on us, but yeah,
Either way, though, what do you say, Kenny?
Just
We
no.
shut it down.
yeah, why not?
Joe's got stuff to do. We ain't got no one to play. I don't know, mind games with.
Yeah.
So,
Well, no, to have a civil debate with you.
but I want to thank everyone who tuned in. I want to thank everybody who joined us. Please like, share, subscribe this because if you do so, once we hit a certain number, we could start doing more fun stuff like on you, especially on YouTube. I could start doing like polls and we could start doing other things.
Yep, we can go live.
We can even ask you what you would like us to talk about.
Yep.
But I can't do that until you like and subscribe. So
Yeah, we
please
have to get
do
to a
so.
certain level. So get us to that level.
Please do. What do you say, Kenny?
I think we're good. Let's wrap it up.
Okay. For the Freemasons podcast, I am Right Worship Brother George Mudry.
Worshipful Brother Joe.
Oh, it sounds just like him. And Worshipful Brother Ken signing off.
Have a good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Thanks for tuning
Thanks for
in.
tuning in. This was great.